Are live now. Salam, hello, salam, shalom, welcome everyone. I hope that you started an amazing day today. I hope that you woke up today and realized that this life, it's so beautiful. I hope that you got up today and realized that today is your day and you ask the universe, just for today, guide me. Just for today, walk my step. Just for today, help me to choose better thoughts. Just for today, choose for me to be happy. Just for today, help me to find my way within. Just for today. Yes. Hi, everyone. Here is the class. Hi, Lavi. My guest is here. Please send me a join live. Thank you, thank you, thank you. There we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Hello, darling.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. Let me know.
Oh, it's so great to have you. We finally made it.
I know. Thank you so much for having me.
I am delighted to have you. Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Where are you currently at the moment?
Los Angeles, California, to be exact, Beverly Hills. And you?
I'm currently living in Playa del Carmen in Mexico.
How is it up there?
It is very lovely. It is very hot today. I'm definitely cozy up in my apartment with my AC on.
Aha. You're very close to the ocean, right?
Yes, I'm just about a 5-minute walk away. If anyone
That's beautiful.
Playa del Carmen, send me a quick little sticker to meet up.
Beautiful, beautiful. So is the ocean hot? How's the water temperature?
It's nice and warm. It's swim.
Beautiful.
Yeah, but there's a lot of seaweed at the moment, so it's not the best time to enjoy the beautiful beaches in Playa at the moment.
Uh-huh. So what's your morning ritual? Let's start with that.
Ooh, my morning ritual. I love just tapping on a beautiful meditation. I'll listen to some high vibe music. I'll do some intentions for the day. I like to have coffee without anything around me, just literally just watching my balcony here, just watching the view, and just taking that moment just for myself. And I noticed back in when I used to work the corporate 9 to 5, I used to always, wake up and rush to go to work. I never
Mhm.
had a moment just to enjoy my coffee and just to enjoy and tap into the gratitude. So, yeah.
That's beautiful. I've been self-employed all my life, and I have to say it's so wonderful that we just can manage our own day. We don't have to drive. As a coach, I work from home, so I'm very grateful for that. So, can you introduce yourself to my followers?
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much again for having me on here today and bringing me into your space and your container. My name is Elaine. I'm an Instagram business coach. So how I started in this coaching industry was about 5 years ago, actually. I was working in the corporate, working in the hotel management, and I worked my way up from front desk to going into management. And at one point, I was managing my own team. I had my own office. My own shiny business card that said manager on it. And I thought that was the fulfilling part of me. I thought that was what I needed, but I truly realized that it wasn't fulfilling after a couple months. I realized that it didn't fully, truly bring my desires of what I ultimately wanted was this freedom lifestyle. I wanted to be a digital nomad. I manifested out to the universe telling that I wanted this, but but it didn't align to me back then, because back then I realized that I needed to go on an eat, pray, love adventure. I just wanted to travel for a bit. So I ended up saving $10,000 in 3 months. Yes, I was working 16-hour days. I was working in the restaurant attached to the hotel, just trying to save up money so that I could be in some sort of energetically alignment to myself and travel for a bit. So I did that. I ended up buying a one-way flight out of Vancouver to beautiful Italy, traveling in Tuscany, and just really going on a solo eat, pray, love adventure of my own. I ended up meeting my ex-boyfriend while traveling abroad in Europe. I moved to Australia for a year. And then I tapped back into the corporate life because I thought, oh my gosh, I can't make money online. It is not possible. So I might as well go back into the corporate life. And then I did that for about I did that in Australia. I ended up breaking up with my ex-boyfriend after 10 months. It didn't work out. And then I realized that it was time for me to go back to Canada because that's where comfort and where home is. I'm originally from Canada.
What part of Canada?
Vancouver.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm.
So I ended up going back to Canada, and then I worked back in corporate for 2 more years, and then COVID happened 2020 of last year, and that's when I got laid off for 2 months, and I decided to just start my own business online. I was like, this is what fulfills me, and I wanted to dive into coaching, and this is where I launched my business just 1 year ago. And I remember starting my business journey, I was so fucking scared. I wasn't sure of where I was going to end up with, if this whole business idea was going to work out, if I was going to, all these mindset blockers that were holding me back and from really tapping to my next potential. But I realized that it's either this or there's always a 9-to-5 to fall back to. There's always going to be a corporate job out there. It is either now to take that chance, take that leap of faith, and to get out there. So I fucking did that. I ended up, within my first 3 months, I made my first 5K month, and then I decided to quit my 9-to-5 job. So hi Katrina. So I left my 9-to-5 in September of last year and been able to take my business full time. And then I moved to beautiful Mexico since end of December. So that is my story.
That's beautiful. You ran through it so quickly.
I'm gonna talk 5 years until
That's beautiful. That's amazing. So why did you choose Mexico?
Absolutely. So I wanted a direct flight, and I wanted to be close to home just in case. And Mexico, Cancun was the direct flight, and I was like, let's fucking do it.
Okay. Are you happy there now? Do you think you made the right decision?
Absolutely. I could not be more fulfilled in my life. Just the connections that I've been building here, the people that I'm meeting, the personal development. I went on a little spiritual woo-woo journey and really just tapped into my deeper connection of who I wanted to be and what fulfills my up. And I told myself 3 months in Mexico. It's been 6 months now.
Cool. So tell me, since you're in Mexico, do you have any experience with peyotes or mushrooms and dealing with shamans there?
Exactly. Before coming to Mexico, I've never done any psychedelics in my life. I was like, nope, never, don't want to go into any hallucination trips or anything like that. But when I came here, there was this thing called cacao mushroom ceremony. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to tap into it. And it was a very life-changing experience because from that night, it led into another night of trying peyote, which is a very heart-opening psychedelic. I don't know if you've tried it before.
No, I only experienced ayahuasca a few times.
Oh, how was that?
That was amazing. I went to Peru. Well, I'm taking it back. My first experience was here in LA. And then I went to Peru. That must have been like 7-8 years ago. and I went. I went on that trip on my own, totally surrendering. Like, before I go there, let me get back. I went on YouTube, and it was like it was so fear based. Watch out for this, watch out for that, hide your phone, and so I was like, oh my God, like it must be really bad. But I went there. I said I surrender, and when I went there, everything was safe. It wasn't like as how big they make it a disaster out of Peru. But anyhow, I went to the jungle with the shamans, and I stayed there for 1 week, and I had 3 nights ayahuasca journey. What I was going to ask you is that the only downfall of ayahuasca for me is that you constantly feel like you want to purge. Is that with peyotes too, or is it just ayahuasca? You don't have like
I think
purging and
I
throwing up.
because ayahuasca is like the grandmother drugs or psychedelics. You get really deep and intuitive with your shit and your fears, and all that stuff comes out. And purging's a really good way to just release that. But with peyote, it's a grandfather heart-opening drug. It's supposed to really help you connect with your heart, with your soul. So I did purge, but I didn't purge at the ceremony. I purged when I got home.
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting.
A 12-hour experience with shamans, singing, music, dancing, connecting. Yeah, it was a very, it's a good experience, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. So guide us now to what you do exactly and how are you helping people?
Absolutely. So I help baby entrepreneurs, service providers, coaches, freelancers monetize on Instagram through building a juicy offer and launching their program.
So how is that process? Is it like lengthwise, I'm asking?
The lengthwise of working together?
Yeah, to work with someone. When you work with entrepreneur, do you have like a course, a deal, like 2 months, 3 months kind of a deal, or how do you work that?
Absolutely. I do have my own self-paced Insta-Coach Business Academy, which has all the videos, modules, and workbooks. But I also do one-on-one coaching. It's 4 months, bi-weekly calls where I really help you dive deep into not only the strategy and the framework of launching your business on Instagram, but also the mindset. So I really tap into your subconscious reprogramming. I really dive deep into any fears, anything that is maybe holding you back to stepping in.
Very, very cool. So, because, I've been coaching hi, Jeff. Welcome.
Good morning.
Hi.
So meet Jeff. Jeff is also a coach. And what are you drinking, Jeff?
It's water.
Water?
It's just so fancy.
Okay.
It's just out of a fancy frosted glass.
Yeah,
That's all.
it looked green from here. So that's not just water. You probably mix some greens in it, right?
It's just water.
Really?
Frosted glass.
It's just frosted glass.
Okay.
Smoky frosted glass.
Okay. It looked very more interesting from here. I thought you like me mix the green powder and all of that stuff. No. Okay.
Yes. Yeah, it's very interesting water.
Okay, very cool. So continue, Elaine. So when you continue on working with people, first of all, what's the first step that you start, and what's the middle, guide us through, and what's the last step? What are you looking for exactly, or how are you helping them?
Absolutely. So the beginning steps is actually to assess the leakages, anything that is like any leaks that may happen in their systems, in their framework, in their messaging. So really, really focus on your messaging, because people need to see what is the results that you're going to offer them, what is the problem that you're going to solve. And when you're too broad, especially with baby coaches, they like to have a very broad niche. I help everyone find their purpose. I help everyone, I don't know, live a freedom lifestyle, for example, and it's just way too broad. It's like, what purpose are you helping them? Are they Googling this? So really, really deep dive into that first in the messaging.
Mm-hmm. So do you get a lot of people who are really confused and they don't know what they want and what they like? And yeah.
Yes. I get people with big goals. I get people with who may be feeling a little bit stuck at the moment, who maybe just want some accountability, who maybe want to learn a little bit more about the Instagram and how to use Instagram into their business, and just even showing up confidently on their Instagram stories and talking on their Instagram stories. That's another skill that I teach as well. 100% of my clients who've worked with me have come out of my program showing up on Instagram stories with confidence.
Mm-hmm. So Maro said me. So how do you work briefly? Can you tell us how do you work when people are really confused? They don't know what's the path. What are your steps?
Absolutely. So I go into deep questioning. I ask them clarifying questions. What specific are you, where specific areas are you feeling stuck in? If I was to give you one quick win, what would that be? So really, really deep diving into what exactly they're feeling stuck on.
Mm-hmm. Jeff,
Yeah.
do you want to add something here before we move on? No, you're good. Okay. So, yeah, the majority of time in my coaching is that people don't know what they love, or oftentimes they don't know what they're good at. And then they're kind of confused. I get really like tough heart clients that sometimes it happens that you're really trying to pull something out, but it's nothing. Like, what do you do with people like that? Like, what do you love? Oh, I don't know. Do you like anything? No, I don't know. So how do you go about it in this case?
Absolutely. So I would use either some some NLP and tap into maybe just like think of a time in the past where you felt really excited.
Mm-hmm.
Time where you got to really open up your heart, open up your confidence. Maybe just asking the question like, what gets you excited in waking up every day?
Mm-hmm.
Love to talk, and there is definitely something that people get excited about. Whether it is possible to monetize that is another story, but at least open up the conversation with them.
Mm-hmm. So by going back and asking them, what got you excited in the past? Just go back, and
Or
see, even in your childhood.
do more
Because,
like a where you ask them to close their eyes and visualize a time in the past where you got excited or where you felt deeply connected with your passion, or deeply connected with somebody, or did something that brought you a lot of joy.
mm-hmm.
Ask them to that and ask them to explain what that looks like, explain in terms of visualization, auditorial, kinesthetic, and being able to describe that. And they will definitely feel joy out of it. I've had so many clients who've cried in the NLP mindset sessions. It's so powerful.
Can I add to that?
Mm-hmm.
I think that another thing that's important in that process is knowing that you might not immediately have your answer right then and there. There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with some of the things that immediately spring up. So if you might come up with a one-word answer, or, like for me, like years and years ago, I kind of went through this and was like, well, what's my superpower? Like, what am I really amazing at? And I came up with this answer over and over again, like, I can
Nothing.
talk.
Nothing.
Nothing.
What am I superpower? Nothing. What am
nothing.
I good at?
Well, I
Nothing.
came up with one thing, which was like, I can talk. Like, I can talk all day, every day, at length. And I thought, because my first inclination was to make myself wrong. Well, that's dumb. Everyone can talk. It's like, well, hold on a second here. What if I don't make myself wrong? And what if I just hang out with that? And then that evolves over time. So even if you're going to go get a 9 to 5 job, when I go get a 9 to 5 job, I can communicate that. First of all, it's going to be communicated in the jobs I might apply for, or in an interview. You need to have me in a talking position. If you've got me stuck behind a computer screen all day where I don't interface with anybody, it's going to be pain. I need to talk to people throughout the day. So, that's things like that. Even if you're not going to branch out on your own, it's a helpful exercise to go through, just to know, like, okay, you know what? I don't like talking. You know what I'm really good at? Staring at spreadsheets all day. It's stupid, but I can stare at spreadsheets all day long. Good. You know something about yourself. Like, don't make yourself wrong. Know that what you come up with in that session might just be like the tip of the iceberg. And you're like, hey, that's what I got today. Let me kind of take that one little idea and marinate on it, meditate on it for a couple of weeks and see what happens, or a month, or a half a year, or however long it takes you for that to really gel into the bigger idea.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah, sometimes I ask people, I said, where are you at? What point in your life? And then they say, I feel stuck and I feel lost. And I said, how do you know that? Sometimes I feel by keep questioning, like, how do you know that you're lost? What shows you that? By keep questioning, because I think oftentimes the way I see it is like when people start thinking, it kind of cut off in like by somewhere out there. It's like the neurons are not connecting enough for you to continue. So once we kind of force that out of them, like, how do you know? How do you know that you're stuck? How do you know that you're lost? And then it gets people to get into a deeper part of themselves and try to get something out of their subconscious, that why do we feel that? Yeah. So Nafis said not everybody likes talking. I am not talkative. Nafis is one of them. Hey guys, please write to us, like, what do you guys think you're good at, and what do you love, what you really, really, really love, and get the joy and passion to wake up in the morning. Okay, back to you, Elaine. um, when you start going through all this thing and you use all these techniques, right? So oftentimes people don't see how they progress, because they always, some of us that we are so accustomed on beating ourselves up all the time. Um, Oftentimes we don't see how much we progress. How do you work on that? Like, how do you show them that although the process maybe looks so small, but you have come so far and this is great?
Okay, so maybe if I was to like break up your question a little bit, is your question about how do I keep them engaged?
No, my question is,
right.
Elaine, you start working with someone, you coaching them.
Yeah.
And then you're going through all this work, you give them a worksheet, do this and that, and you go like halfway, and then they come back to you and they said, well, I've been doing all this stuff, I've been practicing, but I don't see any progress. So my point is, oftentimes I don't see my progress because my back of behavior is like I'm expecting too much out of myself, or I have a habit of beating myself up, don't give myself any credit. So how do you measure that, and how do you bring it to their attention that, well, actually you have grown or progress, you just can't see it.
Absolutely. I think I would start by just breaking down what exactly is not working and really talk them through it. Right? Sometimes when we are so stuck in our focused of our lens, we don't really see the bigger picture, and we don't really see the small little gradual steps that we've already taken to get to where we are today at the present, right? So it's really important for us to, if we've been working, for example, you know, for about 2 months together, and they're like, I don't see anything, Elaine, I haven't monetized yet, like, then I'd be like, okay, let's talk about it. What is the problem, right? Let's talk about it. Let's break it down. Let's, you know, maybe even celebrate some wins of what you have progressed so far and what differences and what changes we've already implemented in the last 2 months, because it's an ongoing process. It's not something that's going to be an overnight success. And right, and our clients, they need to feel that empowerment, feel that motivation, so that they can continue on that journey, or put little changes inside their progress, so that they are their goals.
Yeah, because I see that a lot. Like, we want instant gratification. We want to see something big that's happening. And oftentimes we forget that there is a process, and this process can take time without showing any real evidence out there that you're on the right path, you're doing the right thing. Jeff, do you want to add something here?
Yeah, sure. You know, I'm actually going to tie it to a comment here where it says just going to the gym and doing exercise, you know, makes me really happy. I'm going to
Really,
kind
finish there? Oh, I wish I'd love
of
to be happy doing that.
so
Okay.
I'm going to kind of tie into a gym analogy and then tie it into a sales picture. And so, you know, when you go to the gym, you have machine like ISO, excuse me, ISO machines that focus on a muscle group, and then you have free weights. So like if you lay on a bench and you're doing a bench press, it's really easy to sit in a chair and you've got this machine that's all set for you. And so you're pushing these weights forward. The second you're holding a bar, there's all of these stabilizer muscles that get involved. So you're actually weaker at first. You're not stronger. You're like, I can push way more weight on that isolation machine. I can do less weight holding this bar, because now your arms are shaky. There's all these stabilizers that are finally engaged, that are finally working out. And a lot of times when people go on an improvement journey, they're improving a lot of these little stabilizers, and they don't pay attention to that. They don't understand that. So it is that kind of proverbial 1 step back for 3 steps forwards. And if you take somebody like in a sales, because sales coaching is a very traditional kind of coaching space, and it might be like, well, people go into an improvement saying, well, I want measurable results, so my sales number should be higher. And if they don't see their sales numbers higher, they're going to beat themselves up that they didn't get where they wanted to go. And it's like, well, wait a minute. Did you see 1 more client today than you did the other day? Did you call on 1 more account? Did you call on 2 more accounts? Did you proceed through your pitch more thoroughly? Did you get to a certain point? Did you close a certain number of times? Did you remember to add in the other offer? Or, you know, there's all of these different dimensions. And so at the end of the day, somebody might look back and go, well, wait a minute here. What I was measuring was my actual closing numbers. What I wasn't measuring was the fact that I got up earlier, I got in my car sooner, I saw 2 more clients every day than I normally do. I closed so many more times, even though I didn't get the close, I kind of closed so many more times. It's like all of those are wins. And what a lot of people don't notice is sometimes even the type of client that they're interfacing with is a higher quality, higher value client. And so it's like, yeah, you're failing, but you're actually failing at a higher level. And you didn't even know that you were doing that. You didn't know that you were interfacing with more valuable people. So when you take a step back and you look at the bigger picture, which is important to do, the way I kind of look at it is we often get stuck on that mountain, and the peak is, we're never going to hit the peak. The peak is always going to be higher and higher. And we don't often stop and look around and go like, well, wait a minute here. Like, the mountain got way more vertical and we're still climbing it. And like, we're way up here when we were way down there. We don't look at the entirety of our growth and really put where we are in perspective.
Oh, that's great. So you bring it more into the actions that are they're taking. You bring in their focus more into the actions that they're taking rather than looking and focusing on the result that they haven't received yet.
Absolutely.
So, Elaine, tell us, how should we start? If I'm really, really a beginner, how should I start on Instagram?
That's a good question. So if you were, let's just say you have a personal account, and you're debating to start an Instagram, first question you probably ask yourself, should I start a new Instagram page, or should I convert my personal page into a business?
What's the difference? What's the advantage of having a business Instagram?
You can analytics. There's a lot more features with the business rather than having a personal or creator account. But the very first step is to really decide: do you want to keep your personal page and convert it into like having more business content, or more into like your coaching? Going to convert, because you're not going to be showing, you know, your food photos on the week, you know, the regular personal photos that you would put out there. It's going to be different, because in business you want to make sure that you're attracting your ideal clients and you have relevant content solving people's problems.
Mm-hmm. So that's the key, that you're doing something that you're solving people's problem.
Exactly.
Can we say also responding or answering their questions? I remember way back, I saw this guy on YouTube. He had millions of followers. He didn't know anything. All he was doing is, for instance, how can I keep my fish to be alive longer? And he would go to a fish specialist and he would just talk to the guy, and then he would say, you do this and that, or change your water, blah blah blah, or whatever. And he got millions of followers just to do something to for the questions that people had. Or he would go to the supermarket and ask the guy there, like, what's the best product here? What was your experience and all that? So basically, he was claiming that I don't have any education. I'm not an expert on anything. I know nothing. But he would just go to expert to get their opinion on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's, I always thought about that. I listened to this, I can't remember his name. Sounded like Eckhart Tolle, but it's not that. He's a multimillionaire. And he talks about this. He says, anytime you're solving people's problem, you make money. Because that's really, I mean, people are always looking for solutions to do. It doesn't matter what area it is, but that's something that you should do. Okay, so we find out that business is better than just personal Instagram. And then we have to be clear with ourselves, because sometimes, here's a question I just remember. One of my clients, she's a architect, but her passion is jewelry making. And then she also has this interest on Ayurvedic and everything natural and everything healthy. So in this case, what would you recommend?
What do you mean?
Like, for instance, she wants to start her Instagram, but she's thinking, should I start an Instagram about architect and my work, what I'm doing? Or should I open up an Instagram about Ayurvedic and healthy eating and all organic soaps and shampoo? Or should I start an Instagram about jewelry, how to make jewelry?
it sounds like she has 3 different business ideas on Instagram, 3 things that she wants to start. I think she needs to get really, really clear on which one she wants to start first, and also building a product suite. How does that look like? What are her offers, right? And building that out.
Mhm. So what do you think? Can we have multiple Instagrams in different areas? For instance, I have 3. One is in English. Of course, my first language is Farsi. I have one in Farsi that is more about towards coaching and spirituality and all that. And then I have a fitness one. So what would you think? Would it be good to just open up 3 different Instagram pages related to what she loves or she wants to do?
Wouldn't say to do all of them at once, because that's going to create major burnout. I can't even manage my own Instagram. I can't even like imagine what it's going to be like to have 3 different accounts, because they all need nurturing. They're all going to need your attention. I would really, really focus on one business idea, focus on one niche, one problem that you're going to solve, create that Instagram, whatever it's going to look like, lay out the first 12 Instagram content post so that you see what the visual branding is going to look like. And then from there, you're going to get followers and then build on that.
So what if you're lazy, someone lazy like me, and you have all these assistants who are running your Instagrams, responding to your DMs and making the posts and stories and all that?
Say, if you're a baby entrepreneur, like all of my clients right now, none of them have virtual assistant. Okay, maybe a couple, maybe 1 or 2 have virtual assistants, but most of them don't have that budget and have that money to even invest, because first of all, they don't even know if their idea is profitable. They haven't even, made a single penny in their business yet. Like, those are the entrepreneurs that I really help out, really help them build that audience, build their messaging, build what they truly desire and want to help. And so, but if you have a team and you have a really good, a good structure involved, then for sure, then like have 3 Instagrams. Seems like you're running it really well, and, continue on that, continue the building and the growth on it.
I have a great client. She's like super funny. And she's been with me for many, many years. And then she started up, I told her social media, start your Instagram, work on your platform. So she started her Instagram a few years back. And then I keep telling her that you have to go live. You have to break this pattern that you worry about how you're going to be judged or something. Take a material, memorize it, run it a few times, have your, just videotape yourself and keep going and change the stuff that. So as soon as she started up, she wanted to be a coach. And then she went about it for a while, and then she realized that she sucks at it. That's her opinion. I'm not good. I mean, there are so many people out there who are much better than me and blah, blah, blah. And she compares herself to me, and I would never get there and blah, blah. So then she decided that she wants to go into life insurance. So what happens, or how do you coach people when they're constantly switching and flipping from one thing to another? How do you make them to stick to one thing at least for a few months or a year?
That's a really good question. I would say start by laying the structure, the framework, maybe tapping into market research, talking to your audience, talking to your followers, and feeling that alignment in them, because they know it in their intuition what they truly want to monetize and want to coach on. Help them bring that energy out of them. Mm-hmm. There should be these continual pivotal if they're feeling that attachment and alignment to what their niche is. But I do need to go, guys. I'm so sorry.
Okay. No problem, Lovey. Oh, I forgot that you gotta go. It was great having you, love. And I hope you a lot of success. We're going to keep in touch
Yes,
and hopefully have another Joan live soon sometimes.
absolutely. Thank you
Bye
so
bye, Lovey. Thank you.
much.
Bye. Okay, Jeff. So do you want to pick up from here?
Yeah,
What do you
I
think?
do. Yeah, I think that that's actually a really big thing. I mean, I struggle with it, or I don't want to say I struggle with this, but it's very noticeable for me, and I think for a lot of people. One of the things that we don't do, especially as we get older, is we don't respect patience. We don't respect time. And I'm actually going to take a quick point towards even Tony Robbins, where he goes, when you're a parent and your kid, like, how many times do you give your kid the opportunity to walk before you give up on that kid? Never. You're like, my kid's going to keep trying until they walk. The end. And if you look back at when you're a child, that's how it is with everything, whether it's walking or talking or learning to read or write, or in my case, it's a whole number of skills that I possess. I started nowhere and I took time to develop those skills. When we're older, we get this attitude that, like, oh, I've just decided I'm going to do something, and within a week or a month or something, I'm going to have it. And we don't take a step back and say, well, wait a minute. When we were young, it took us a lot of time to develop a skill and to build something. Well, then why would it not be the same? And so what we tend to do is we kind of tend to dive in rather than taking small steps.
Mm-hmm.
And we dive into something and we burn out because we don't get a result. We get discouraged by not getting a result that we think we should have. And
So
then
when you
we
say to have
leave.
respect, what do you mean? How do you teach someone to have respect for that?
How do you teach someone that they're going to have respect
Yeah.
is you build a plan and you set goals that are measurable. So again, let's say back to the sales thing, because I used a sales analogy. So somebody goes, I'm going to try to be a salesperson. And they go out there, and after a week trying to sell stuff, they are abysmal. They fail. They can't close anything. They don't get any sales. And after a week, maybe two, they go, that's it. I'm not a salesperson. And what they need to do when I say,
Jeff, we lost your voice. No. You're muted, Jeff. Something is up. Can you hear me, guys? Yes, no. Can you hear me? You want to leave and come back? Okay, cool. Yeah, it might be too hot. I see your fan going up there. That's fine. You can leave, disconnect, and come back again. What's up, guys? What's up here with the energy? Hmm? Summer is here, guys. It's starting to get warm and air conditioned.
am
And
I back?
yes, you are back.
You know what it was? I had a call come in and it completely, even though I ignored the call, it scrambled the whole thing. So what I what I was saying with the salesperson is, like, again, they go out there for a week, maybe 2 weeks, they don't get any sales, and so they go, well, I'm not a salesperson. And it's like, well, hold on a second here. What you should do is you should say, respect the growth process. Well, how do you respect it? You set goals that you can measure, and you have a coach that can give you little building blocks. Now, if you're on your own, it's going to be a lot harder, especially if you don't have like some type of online course or some sort of something to guide you where you're going, and you're really just flailing in the water trying to learn how to swim. But if you have a guide, or especially if you have a coach, it's like, okay, well, let's say you're going to become that salesperson. Okay, well, what you're going to do is you're going to wake up at this time every day and you're going to work until this time every day. That's something you can measure. And you're going to do that 5 times a week. Okay, and you can measure that. Well, what's the next thing? Well, during the many hours, you're going to visit so many clients. Okay. And then now we've got that as a measurable result. Okay. And then what you're going to do is you're going to present your product and you're going to talk about it like this, and you're going to break down your pitch into these things. And so you're going to measure, well, how far did you get in your pitch before somebody shut you down? You know, how many times, how far did you get before somebody shut you down? Okay, well, that's measurable. How many times did you ask for the sale? Okay, well, that's measurable. And so when you start breaking it into these pieces, this is exactly what I was talking about earlier. You can come back at the end of 2 weeks and the person goes, I'm a failure. I'm not a salesperson. Well, hold on a second. Let's look at your progress. Well, you got up, you went out there, you visited so many clients, you did this. Let's, you know, and you can see somebody's growth along a trajectory. So, well, you're going to be a salesperson. You weren't in 2 weeks. What salesperson became a success in 2 weeks? No one ever. But you can see your measurable results increasing. Mm-hmm. It's like, it's like the equivalent of saying, I'm going to become a bodybuilder. And then in 2 weeks, you're like, well, I'm not a bodybuilder. It's like, are you kidding? You know,
so basically, when you said respect the patient, I'm thinking, I was assuming, then in my head, I have to get that as a mantra, that respect. And then every day I say that again, first thing in the morning when I wake up, I say I would respect and have patience. I would respect. That's how I was looking at it, Jeff. I would respect that I'm going to give time and space for me to get good at something. And I'm respecting the time and effort that it's going to take to reach my goal, and keep reminding myself, when I wake up in the morning, I said, I'm going to have respect for myself and my journey or my goal, that I'm going to wake up at 7 a.m. if I said it's 7 a.m. And that's having respect for myself and respect for what I'm going to do to, what are you saying, Maro? The problem is we are comparing ourselves to others. That's always an issue, mm-hmm. Maro. That's why I talked about this before, that I never compared myself to others. I was the only person that I was competitive with was myself. And I was checking my own growth, like from this week to next week or to other weeks. Like right now, so, I keep writing everything that needs to get done, right? And then if I don't write everything down, Jeff, by the afternoon, I lose my energy and I'm like, I haven't done anything, right? And I mark mm-hmm. a lot of things. But I noticed something else. Oftentimes, when I write my to-do list, I don't write down everything that I'm doing in general, right?
Right.
So the afternoon, I forget that, I made a phone call to that person, I did a session, I did this and I did that. And then I thought, it just dawned on me that, hello, you have to write down everything. Like, I went to the bathroom 6 times today. So, or I made lunch, or I went grocery shopping, or I did. Once we write down everything, then, because still there are a lot of things I said, of course I know I have 5 sessions today, or of course I know. But once I start writing it down, even important phone calls, or Mershad is on my back that he wants this video and he wants me to do this and he wants me to do this. So I wrote down everything today. And once I'm marking it off one by one, at the end I see, okay, maybe I didn't get to finish everything, but I did almost 30 things today. And yeah.
One of the things that is very helpful is I learned a technique a long time ago that I think is very important, which is to kind of block similar things together.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, I'll take a couple of examples, one being exercise and another being, let's say, me personally as a musician. With exercise, a lot of times a person might have a lot of goals. It might not simply be, I want to exercise. It might be like, I want to lift a certain amount of weight. I want to be able to run a certain distance. I want to be able to play a certain sport. I want to be able to, do yoga. It's like, there's all of these things that are interesting about exercise. And you might make a to-do list where you're saying, okay, well, what I'm going to do every day is I'm going to do calisthenics. I'm going to go for a jog. I'm going to do yoga. I'm going to lift weights. And then you don't do all that. Maybe you do 1 out of 4. And then you say, I'm a failure. And it's like, well, hold on a second here. Your ultimate goal is exercise and fitness. And so if you look at those 4 things, all 4 of those things are your fitness. So the better thing to do is say, I'm going to allow myself and I'm going to be disciplined to commit so much time per day on my fitness, no matter what it looks like. No matter what it looks like. And then if you can be further disciplined about how you spend that time, great, you get an extra bonus star today. But you're not failing unless you don't do it at all. If you don't do it at all, then you can kind of beat yourself up a little bit and be like, well, why didn't I do anything? But as long as you did something, I don't care if it's going out for a walk, you're like, you did something. You took some sort of action within that category, which is your health and fitness. Same thing for me with music. Like, I play guitar, I sing, I write songs, I record, I do all these things. There is an infinite number of things that I can work on within that category. But if I sit down and I say, well, I'm going to spend, I don't care if it's 10 minutes or 20 minutes, even if I'm just having fun and enjoying myself, it's still kind of within that category. Now, I'm not really improving if I'm just having fun. So it's like, well, what do I do? Maybe I'm practicing my technical ability. Maybe I'm practicing my ability to write something. So I have to make sure that I'm, playing stuff that might compose a song, or I'm recording something. So I'm developing techniques to record better. No matter what it is, even if it's 10 minutes or 30 minutes, I worked within that category. And if you learn to do that, instead of like driving yourself nuts with a to-do list, oh, I didn't check everything off the list, I'm a failure. It's like, well, hold on a second. Did you work on this hobby of yours and improve in some way? Cool. Did you work on this profession of yours and improve in some way? Cool. Did you work on your health and fitness, a goal of some sort, and improve in any way? Cool. Now you can start to look at yourself as a winner and give yourself credit, and that builds your self-esteem. You're going to get out there and do it again. If you look at the to-do list, you're going to beat yourself up and see yourself as a failure for not checking everything off the list. Where if you start saying, well, look, I took some action in each of these categories that are important to me, now you're going to give yourself credit and feel good about yourself and do it again.
Absolutely. So, Bidari 110, what is your question exactly, honey? What about living in the moment? Living in the moment is what we do in this moment. So, for instance, I check my list. I am in the moment. I start doing the first task, calling up Dr. Naina, which is in my list. I do that. I'm totally present in the moment while I'm making that phone call. After I did it, I just check mark listed. I go to the next one. I'm present in the next moment. I'm making my salad and then mark that off. I'm walking. So being in the moment is every moment you're fully present at what task you're doing. While you're doing this task, your mind is not wandering around and going to what's the next one and what's the. So when I'm saying about writing a to-do list, It's because it's a great way for me not to try to remember things. That takes a whole loads off my head because I do over 100 things per day. So if I want to keep on thinking, have I done that? I shouldn't forget doing that. By writing everything down, it's really helpful that it's just off my head and I just have the list, and I just mark them as I do. Jeff, we got 4 minutes to end up. What is Moral's question? You want to read it?
But I think there's a line between to see a full part of the cup or bring excuses and be lazy. I'm kind of in between sometimes. You know, it's funny, I don't have a million things on my to-do list. You know, I remember watching an interview, I think it was with Larry King, I'm not sure, where Bill Gates and Warren Buffett were together with him, and they were comparing their to-do lists and their calendars, and Warren Buffett pulled out his, and there was like one thing on it. And they're like, this is Warren Buffett. They're like, there's one thing on his list. He's like, yeah, I'm the master of my destiny. I'll do whatever I want to do. And I I think that that's important because, you know, if you want to kind of take that breath in life, stop, smell the roses, as long as you've got your major points of focus, these are the major things I'm driving at. Because sometimes I think that to-do list can be a huge distraction. And if you're just like, well, what?
You think that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Bec-
that was really well for me.
Yeah, I'm not saying for every person. I'm saying they can be because you can place so much importance. A person can place so much importance on all these little line items rather than saying what I really need to do is just make sure I'm moving my business forward. What I need to do is really make sure I'm focused on my health and fitness. What I really need to do is make sure I'm focused on my family. Something like that. You start getting caught up in all these little line items and you might miss the bigger picture.
Mhm. Yeah, maybe for people who have like regular lifestyle, for me that doesn't work because we actually have at least 50 things that needs to happen. I'm going on Instagram. Master this assistant needs this, the other one needs that, and I have to do a live and then I do this session and then I do my next session. So for me, it's not I don't have the luxury of couple of things that happens in a day. Therefore it's impossible for me not to have a list. Otherwise, I'm just going to be in my head constantly. That was what was the next day? What was the so it's the fast way life that I have, and there's so much things
Mhm.
because we're processing stuff so quickly and we're moving so fast that it's just like some as you know that I'm in Clubhouse and some days I do two lives instead of one live plus the sessions in between, and plus taking care of supplements and patches and this and that.
But, you know,
So,
really quickly as we're closing, that's to me, that's not a to-do list. That's a schedule.
what is it?
And a schedule is not a to-do list. That's a different thing.
Oh,
Maybe we could talk about that separately, the difference between a to-do list and a schedule.
okay. That would be great to have it. Um, so, what's the question? If I say how to make myself quick to do all my list, it takes a lot of time. Um, from what I'm getting from you, the speed is the speed has to do with a lot of things, honey. I think once you're clear about, like for me, the task, like I said, when I'm doing, I have all this thing in my list, I'm totally focused on one thing at the time, right? So I don't burn out energies, extra energies of going and catching myself that I'm gone and bringing myself back in again. And with speed is how is your energy level, how healthy you are, how mentally clear, because the last few days at least two people got upset at me, people who I'm doing business with, that they're not clear, there's no clarity. And it's just then they get upset when I confront them that hello, I'm running a business. I need you to be focused. And unfortunately, I'm not seeing that clarity in their head, that let's be really clear. Let's do, when we talk about this, let's do this. It goes like 10 or 20 back and forth texts until I can get a response from my first thing, you know. So maybe my mind processes much quicker, but in a text, I'm like, one, I need this. Number two, what about this? Number three, you said to do this. How can I do that? And then they respond to one, and then I have to go back again. Okay, what about the other four? Can you please respond to the other four? And then they're gone, and then they come back like 2 hours later to respond to another one. And that's kind of irritating. But I asked myself today, I said, if the whole universe is my mirror, why am I constantly dealing with people who are not clear and they make mistakes because there's not enough of it? So this been in my space the last few days, and sometimes I can translate it. How can I help people to be more clear and be able to really have a sharp, focused mind that they can take a lot in, and they can operate very quickly to become a great task maker. So to respond to you, Nafis, how clear and sharp are you in your head? Because that takes out a lot of energy that will take from your daily activities and doing stuff. Okie dokie. That was great, Jeff. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you,
Thank
Sudhi.
you, everyone, for being here. I see you guys on Thursday. Please don't forget to subscribe on my YouTube channel, Sudhi Burnett English, to receive a free gift. Write loads of comments, like and share. See you all Thursday. Bye bye, everyone. Thanks, Jeff.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.